Hello, everyone. So welcome back. So, yes, I usually like to go up to the screen like this. All right. For those who are new to my channel, my name is Jose. I like to coin myself as a micro-astrologer. That means I work with detail. I work with over 200 asteroids now, and it's growing. The list is growing because I'm very interested in like the stories behind the stories behind the stories. It's just fascinating. It's like I don't know, it just like goes everywhere. So, and I like to give detailed readings, very meaningful, profound readings. Because for myself, I know I'd like the same thing. I want the same thing. I want like, oh, if I'm missing anything, and knowledge can be, it's like it's overrated, but at the same time, it's like I have fun with the knowledge. But anyways, so today, as I fix my collar here with the Septarian, I'm wearing Septarian and Adventisite. I love gemstones. So, um, I wanted to look into this. I've been kind of putting it off, and I just thought maybe I should read it now because it's like, okay, this is very cool. Um, so, as some of you know, Bird Bashar has disclosed that contact will happen in 2027, and I thought that was very interesting. So, I dated it to just the 1st of January 2027 using specific smaller bodies like dwarf planets, asteroids. So one of them is Core, Moira, Mullo, Orcus, and Core and sila-nunam are actually dwarf planets where they're kind of past Pluto. Okay, they're not in the asteroid belt. So let's take a look at what they say. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so here's the actual the first thing I saw right away was just like, okay, so core will be conjunct, Sun will be conjunct with Mercury and Capricorn with core, and based on my long research on core, um, he's about cohesion. That's the general thing. He's a higher vibration of Jupiter, so he's about like being in the moment, really living life based on the rhythm of life. It's his life rhythm, right? That's kind of Philip Sedgwick's general thing, interpretation about him. But what I discovered were several things. So it could be that um, there will be like all forms of information coming in because Mercury is there and it's tied to the government. So a lot of information being transmitted through old systems as well. So this could be through like governments per se, but also like old systems, like what do you call those? Like for older things, things that have been like, in old, it's Capricorn. Possibly also higher elevated places, mountains or mountainous areas. Um, it'll be definitely like a connection true for several people. I don't see whereas it's trying to Mars and he's trying to Mullo. Let's take a look at why what I'm seeing here is the fact that it's trying to Mars there'll be sort of an initiative being happening right there. So there's going to be pull. It also could be tied to military bases, small military bases because it's in Virgo, plus small parts of the world, little pockets of the world. Could be also very grounded. It's on the planet Earth. Literally, it's in all three Earth signs. So all forms of creatures, forms, maybe I wouldn't say, not necessarily all forms of contact, like all forms of extraterrestrials, but also all forms of things that you might encounter, meaning all or any, really. There might be complexities included here, maybe like awe, reverence, definitely higher dimensional stuff, feeling creative impulse might be there. You might feel like it's sacred. It might also tie in with any sort of subconscious belief that we may have about things, whether it's the government or military or armed forces or whatever it is, right? There might be harmony, but it is flowing with Mars, or rather, more like there might be a natural defensiveness about it, right? So, but this will also bring in long forgotten things, creative abilities, power, um, and it will feel like maybe we're kind of chosen. There's a sort of chosen, prepared, like feeling like special, such sort of unique I am this kind of gifted thing. Um, there might be also genuine work put in there. It'll be connected to connections. It might feel like like it sort of like feels like, oh, we're getting more than what we bargained for, right? Abundance, oneness as a connection as well. Response is definitely there. There might be separation as well. Ego is definitely going to be probably there. With with the sun there, that's not that's that's not in question. Um, any sort of scattering, me or them sort of thing, individualism versus collectivism. So that means sort of connection or not connection, or again, it'll be coming back to the first things in life. So I'm seeing here the first Adam and Eve, first Eve, meaning like coming back to like, oh, this is not what we thought it was. It'll feel kind of like prophetic, like Christ-like, It also feels like natural. Maybe there might be conversions. It'll feel like mission-like, okay, being saved somehow. Laws will be part of this whole process. There might be moral codes or ethics introduced, or things regarding all this stuff, right? This is for the year of 2027. Um, there might be spying involved as well. I don't remember. Astrology is a language of probability. So anything I say here can happen, cannot happen. Doesn't matter. It can be either way. So it'll feel like also tied to like language, so definitely like a language connection. That's where Mercury fits in as well. Um, definitely foreign stuff. It'll feel definitely absolutely foreign, but also kind of in a way maybe multicultural gathering of the world or multicultural gathering of governments and nations, heads of state. Okay, any sort of cultural suppression or oppression some people might feel that way. Mars is there, so it feels like or forms of like adapting or assimilation. You feel like defensiveness, misinterpretation, of course. Sailors might be involved. I don't know. Sources of energy might be included here. Maybe there's a lot of effort put into this. You kind of come into contact. Any sort of invocation, summoning prayers, that kind of stuff, offerings. I wouldn't be surprised if there's anything like that, something related to that kind of stuff, like any sort of ceremonies involved here. It might feel kind of hallucinogenic. Maybe there'll be singing and dancing and twirling, orchestration, a culmination of things, a culmination of people, a combination of thoughts, communication, transmissions, neighbors is part of that as well. Like as if it's like a brotherly, sisterly, sibling sort of thing. It might be again a new life into the new beginning, right? So it's a collective thing. Architecture might be kind of involved in here, maybe new ideas about that one, or the old ideas, because it is in Capricorn, it's more about the old stuff. So anything to do with the Big Bang sort of thing, like the beginning, again, primordial goo, latent abilities. Um, we might come into the whole latent ability thing is important, I find, because it's like it's late, it's delayed, it's a Capricorn. So that signifies to me that it's like humans we are coming to our abilities quite late in terms of remembering what we were supposed to remember because we've lost it, right? So there's sort of that return again. Um, Psychological reports might be involved here. Science, definitely scientists, psychologists, also artists as well, of course. Politicians, definitely. But politics and spirituality involved, put to come together. Okay. The number seven is coming through in this case. So there's might be something to do with that one. All formations and solidifications. So that's tied to Capricorn as well. You might feel like there's a sort of a pull portal involved here as well. The contact might just be starting with something kind of portal. Maybe it's not necessarily physical, but it could be also, right? It might be sort of gravitational. It might be some sort of something magnetic to people. Centripetal forces included here. So again, it kind of feels like it's coming to a, I was going to say coming to a close, but it feels like it's kind of connected that way. I'm going to take a look into Mulla as well. Mulla is an asteroid. So didn't just say it's something to do with what is this one here? Um, Hailing and healing. So I forgot what the story is with Mullo, but it's something to do with first come, first serve, so first to the first things. High esteem, sort of veneration as well, honoring it. When you say your eminence, kind of like respect, because you might be in awe about the whole thing, right? It might be a paramount thing. It's very important. It was sort of a very, again, gravitational thing. It's relevant to us. Any sort of connection as well, maybe a time of healing as well, because it's so different, right? But at the same time, it's the same. So old with new, right? It might also kind of bring in certain things regarding health as well. It's Muller is in, well, it's in Taurus here. So maybe sort of conflicts, right? Afflictions like boundaries put up again. Um, I don't know if there's anything to do with like sickness or disease or calamity. I wouldn't put it here because it's not tied to that. Although there's Mars here, so Mars should mean that it's inflammation as well. So if anything, people might assume that it's like, oh, you're from another place and it might bring in disease, whatever, right? So people might get all freaked out and all that stuff. So it could go either way. It could go in many directions. There might be also a feeling of like it's invading, like it's invasion, again, assimilation, lingering things that are lasting. So I'm going back to the whole misery thing, a scourge or calamity or crux, sickness, anguish. It might feel like that for some people because they're like, I don't know what to do with that. There's something about horses involved here. So I don't know if it's something to do with like moving towards it or moving away from it, like running for it or something about foreign. Horses are usually tied to foreign things, right? It's Sagittarius. I don't know. It might be a junction point as well. Maybe certain junction points in the world regarding all this stuff. Again, emotional distress for certain people. Like, it'd be like, maladies, I don't know, some sort of illness that they feel it's in their heads, like something might happen. I don't know. Because it's the new energy as well. And people are not used to it. They'll be like, ah. But it'll be also time for healing, a potential for that kind of stuff, right? Again, I'm seeing here healing processes, homeostasis, inflammation, proliferation, maturation. So the Mars thing is showing up here as well. That totally makes sense, right? With a connection to the sun and Mercury, Mercury is tied to medicine as well. So that's totally makes sense. Again, commemoration is coming up here, collective. So collective will be informed about this whole thing. Maybe not everybody, but officials, representatives, appointments, designations, promotions. I don't know. Promotion in this case, maybe a promotion of what's happening. It's most likely going to happen from then on. It's already happening now, anyways. But it'll be like a bigger worldwide sort of thing. Again, connections, conjoined things. You'll be a nexus point, certain nexus points in the world. So it's like a central point. Again, centripetal force earlier. So it'd be like magnetic, right? Um, that's what I'm seeing here. That's the one that will flow naturally, meaning the big thing that will happen. Um, the people will encounter a lot of changes. I'm seeing here right away, right? So something that people will have to get used to. And naturally, there's still going to be there's still going to be Neptune conjunct Saturn there, a little bit farther away. Okay, so Saturn is separating from Neptune already, rather than applying. Um, but there's this Yod right here. I don't know if you guys can see that one right there. You see that? That right there is showing me that there's some sort of dissolution and with change that's coming through with information, but because Uranus will be retrograde at that time and Pluto will be right there, it'll be like almost perfect. um, what do you call this placement? This yod right here is showing me that with this energy coming forth, when that day comes, it'll be like at the very least at the beginning of the year, it'll feel like people will be, I cannot do this. It feels kind of destined. It feels kind of just like so you can't. You just have to flex. You just have to flow. You just have to adapt to the situation. That's, I would say, highly recommend that. I've had one yod at least in my chart, and I realized too, I was just like reading, I was like, oh yeah, don't fight it. You'll just get worse. Meaning like worse as in not negative worse, but yes, don't fight it. Just adapt to it. So the things to adapt to are the disillusion and any sort of things that are uncertain for us, and any sort of unexpected things that will happen continuously, but also at a more private, more internal level for individuals, but also at a collective level for humans to see this as like an opportunity to be like, okay, how do I go about this one? Right? It has a lot to do with putting in effort to allowing new thoughts to come in, new information to come in, and that not really surrendering to it. Moon will be in 0 degrees Scorpio. Only, well, it'll be moving, but the point is, with this stamped energy in that the 1st of January of 2027, humans will have that sort of like we kind of like feel like it's a lasting effect because it's going to kind of again, right, going to be surprised, especially with Saturn here conjunct Neptune, and Saturn is still going to be next year in Aries. It's going to, and it's square actually to the sun here, with Neptune also square to the sun and Mercury. So it's showing me that it's like this resolution will be kind of like, even though this is a new thing, there'll be resistance towards it, right? But again, at the same time, there might not be resistance towards it. Depends on who chooses to. There's a choice that has to be made here, right? It's time for new things. It's time for change. Even now, as it's happening, we're already in March. Like this is next year. So that's what I'm seeing here. So we have to, because the more what we resist persists. This is why the world is in chaos. There's only chaos when we resist change. Let me repeat that. There's only chaos when we resist change. Okay. Pluto will be square the moon here, or rather, moon will be transiting as in like square Pluto here. So it'll feel like a resistance to March. Pluto will still be in, um, what do you call this? Pluto will still be in the Dwad of Pisces. So that's tied to Neptune here. But also Jupiter. Where's Jupiter by then? Jupiter will be conjunct um, the South Node. So that means that when the South Node hits Leo, we're called to be in creative mode, be childlike, be open to that, but also welcoming new technology, new opportunities, new changes, something that's different, something that's crazier or innovative, but at the same time more human, right? But Jupiter is expanding our approach to becoming more childlike, becoming coming to our hearts, coming to and say, okay, let's just have fun with this. Because otherwise it's gonna be like, oh, resistance to what we value, right? We hear resistance to that whole thing, which is funny because with Pluto with Taurus right here, you don't feel like a resistance to it as well, especially if we don't work in our shadow work. If we don't do shadow work, if we're not working on shadow work right now, that's a big thing. If we're not doing any inner work and actually processing and letting go, it won't. It'll feel like another resistance. Right here, it's already in the Dwad of, okay, it's in the Dwad of Leo, actually here. So again, we need to surrender to a child like this and really, it'll be it's already past the third decan of Scorpio here, Venus. So that means that as people, not only in terms of like regarding what Venus rules, like entertainment industry, pleasure, sex, what we value, money, finances, banks, those kind of things, on a personal level, it also calls us to go into a more childlike approach to it. Just have fun with it. So what if we lose money? So what if we do this collectively? We're so afraid of death, and I'm just like, that's what Scorpio is showing us, and that's what Pluto is showing us. It's like surrender to the death, surrender to the powerlessness. That's how you get powerless. How you get powerless is how you get powerful because you dig into the depths of your being. It's like kind of like saying, I don't want to shit, I don't want to take a dump, but then when you lock it in, it's like, oh. Or if you don't eat, what happens? Right? I don't need to explain that anymore. But as humans, we're here to experience these things. The only way to go, the only way really to learn and to really understand something, not just conceptually, is to experience it. So the Yoda here is a powerful one. So dissolve, 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 change, 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 reform, 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 transform to transform, transcend to transcend, transcend. Bleh, I can't say that 3 times fast. So just have fun with it, just like I'm having fun with the astrology right now. Okay. With Venus also is quincunx Myra and right here, Myra and what is this, Chiron? Okay, in 23 degrees, 26 degrees of Aries. Myra here is saying that it's kind of, it feels like it's faded. These are the fates. So when I say faded, I don't necessarily mean like it's faded. I mean like it's up to us. It feels like the things that are the changes that have been happening. I mean, it's, what's it? Myra is in the, what is it? The one of, it's in the, what is that one called? It's in the, is that Sagittarius? No, it's in Capricorn. Okay, that means that it's, let me put this one here. In the face of danger, some things that you can't, really change. It's natural order, cosmic balance, cause and effect. What we choose has an effect to that, right? Where, what is that from, what is that phrase? With action comes reaction or something like that. It's normal, right? What we put in. So we choose to be active or passive or rather proactive? Is it, is it right? Is it inner truth or inner hypocrisy? Independence or dependence? You have to choose, right? You get to choose. You get to choose. You get to choose. Um, Dividing, conquering, assistance, guidance, compensation, impermanent, finite things, unconscious or subconscious behavior, deception, inevitability. Okay, so again, fate, right? So it's feels like it's out of your control, and the natural way to do it is just you have to allow for it because it's timeless. You are infinite being, but it's not just me saying this one. The way to experience it, you'll experience it. So in this event, this will be this you get to choose whether you accept the losses and as gains, or you insist on only gains and not deal with the losses. Okay. This feels very powerful. This one feels so powerful. I can already feel it. Oh, goosebumps right here. It includes also, it says here, the 12 universal laws. So there might be some sort of reintroduction, that kind of stuff, birthing, rebirth of this whole process as well. Suffering comes from egoic attachments, birth and deaths, okay? Lengths, well, okay, this might be a long time. All forms that have beginnings and endings, so things that are coming in. So this might also feel ominous, like it's a sign for things, right? Portion is portioning, tapestry, scissor. Okay, what is this one? So this is prophesied, I believe. Well, I'm already doing it right now. So atmospheres might also be affected by this one. People might perceive that as sort of, you know, but it's tied to Chiron. So a lot of it is tied to the healing stuff. So I'm seeing here life-saving. Could be, it's life-saving if we choose to see it that way. Sort of a CPR effect, it's almost like they're giving us an opportunity to breathe again, right? There might be divisions, although, so disputes as well, border control, incapacitation, arrest, subjugation, control, suppression, double-edged swords, right? Double-edged situations, two-sided things. Okay. Um, the seesaw effect as well. Okay. Again, balance or imbalance. Um, Health insurance, retirement plans, vacations. I don't know how that's tied to Aries here. That's interesting. Whereas Mars is involved here because there's Mars. Not sure about that one. Hmm. There might be sort of assistance involved here. Some sort of, like, I don't know, compensation? Something like that. But it'll definitely feel like much of it is going to feel like, it feels like it's like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? It feels like you can't control it. When you can, because as Bashar would put it, it's like the adults are here. That explains Capricorn. The adults are here. Rather, the grandparents are here. The grand adults are here. So that's a beautiful thing, I think. Kind of exciting. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Um, North Node will be square Venus as well. I'm seeing here that as a sign, but it's also sextile Moira Chiron, or rather just Moira. So that means that it'll feel like if we allow for it, it's gonna be kind of more of an acceptable thing because it's like, oh, it's like, oh, that's right. It's a beautiful new thing. Stop resisting it, right? But there'll be those who are stubborn about it and say, no, I don't want this one. So that's what it is. It's gonna feel like conflict, right? Sila-nunam here is actually in, what is this? Sextile to the moon, but square Uranus. So sila-nunam, I don't often get to use them. It's a beautiful dwarf planet, actually. So reverence, again, back to reverence. It'll feel like it's sort of like awakening again. The Kundalini is tied to this one as well. Again, it feels like it's either malevolence or some sort of like takeover. Again, it's tied to cause and effect. Perplexity, cryptic, it'd be kind of like a mystery or mystic something, unknown, uncertain. Like it'd be kind of like a silent sort of thing. But at the same time, it'll be an opportunity for us to go back inside, right? An inner knowing of cycles of life and death. So it's almost like this knowledge that we're going to get. It's something to do with, again, going back to our primordial self. I say that as my own way of saying it because that's how I feel about things when it comes to this stuff. Um, you'll feel like it's all around. It's very immense, infinite, spacious, enormous, colossus, mammoth-like, gargantuan. Okay, it's like but it's going to connect with us internally as well. Okay. This feeling of radiance, brilliance, this powerful thing, empowerment as well. But it'll feel like an up and down sort of thing as well. So we could say that it's tied to developing some sort of refoundation in us. Okay, sustenance, unpredictability. Okay. Uh, where's the other one here? It's in Virgo, so let's see. People might feel like on that the 1st of January at least, again, you'll be the whole transformative thing, metamorphosis, transubstantiation, morphological process, adaptation again, or evolution, right? It'll feel like again the whole like fostering. It might feel like it's a fostering as well. Or rather, there might be fostering sort of like what the army would. Well, I don't see Leninum is in conjunct Mars here. If we allow for it, the people will, in general public will feel like it's sort of like fostering thing. Otherwise, if you don't, then you don't. Um, People might assume that there'll be like kidnapping because we're talking about uh, it'll feel like information that's flowing here. It's still kind of Uranus right here, high vibration of Mercury. It'll feel like information that's being passed through, especially with newscaster, like news and information is controlled by Mercury. Selenium here, and Mercury rules Virgo, so that means that Selenium will feel like there's been news about kidnapping and lures and all that negative stuff that they tend to do, because they just want to give information for the sake of information, right? So. But it'll feel like deep space. It'll feel like it's definitely an outer space and cosmos. The universe is coming here now, intergalactic something. So, Northern Lights, I don't know if that will be affected. Um, let's see here. There might be because there's a square to Uranus. Might be like a change in the Northern Lights. Might be change in certain places. Like, where did I see here? Uh, Was it foster homes or something like that? I don't know. Light will be affected by this one. Um, there's something about something that flow in the air, things that flow in the air. So that totally makes sense. It'll feel like it's a flowing, maybe an encounter like this, that whatever we see, it feels like it's just floating. It's not necessarily like a rocket, sort of, it's just floating. A magnetic field will be affected by this one, or can be affected by this one. Um, Customs, okay, of course. There might be some sort of substitution involved here. Okay, the oldest things, again, it'll be coming back to the feeling of its old, its primeval, primordial. Okay, you feel legendary, like it's like tales, story to tell for a long time. I saw earlier long-lasting things with Mullo. So it feels like something that people will talk about for, at the very least, like months. Okay. It'll be like an enigmatic, mysterious, puzzling thing, like a riddle to solve. Um, Working the land, something about land. I don't know if that is the case here. Maybe there will be feasts, having lots of food because there'll be like a celebration for certain people. Okay, if they allow for it. Okay. Um, there might be soot involved because of maybe some sort of like, I don't know if it's something to do with the rockets or something like that. Soot, or I don't know what it is. Um, Again, it's sextile to the moon right here. So that means it has to be, effort has to be made. There's something about connected to Mother Nature, wilderness, natural world elements. Like I said before with core, it's a return to the information of how we take the care of the world. Okay. Um, it'll be, again, because of all that stuff, that means it includes our health is involved here as well. Getting back to our natural selves. Earth's crust, mantles. Okay, the Earth's crust and mantle might be part of this one. Seasons might be affected as well. Um, Something about virility or fertility. I don't know. Uh, Maybe linking, sort of umbilical cord, energy cords, or something like that. It might feel also quiet. Yeah. Again, time for creativity. Creativity usually comes more from within. Creative endeavors, I said that earlier about art, dancing, and all that stuff. Okay. Again, show shaping of things. So the shaping of humanity, shaping of the world. Specifically of governments, I would say the shaping of governments. I don't know, but it feels like a sextile to people. It could shape people more than governments themselves because this is the moon here, sextile. But with the square to Uranus right here, it'll feel like there's like three parts here, three bodies, square Uranus. So it'll feel like if we go back to old ways and if we resist what's ahead of us, the changes for new technology, new information, but here Uranus rules Aquarius, but also Jupiter here rules Aquarius. If we get stuck into the old systems, again, that's already happening right now anyways, but here it'll be more like, oh, it's here, it's here, it's here. Okay. So cryology, ice, I don't know if something to do with frozen things as well. Cryology, I don't know. Let's see what that does. Okay, so I think that's about it. That's the main thing I'm seeing right now. So I think I'm read for most of it. So that's good. Orcus is right here on its own. Um, that's just on its own, meaning that I feel like Orcus is here in little pockets of the world. It's more of an internal feel, I think. But if it is more in private areas, like little pockets of the world, we have to be integrous in terms of what this knowledge is for us. We have to look deeper into it, but at the same time, not force it to be, not insist that it has to be one way or another. Just allow for it and be integral with ourselves. Like, what does it mean for us without imposing anything onto others as well? Going into our any sort of unconscious habits we have, our health, what does it mean for us? Like, you know, when we are reintroduced to things that we didn't know before, or rather we have forgotten, and then it's like, what does that mean? Right. So to question it, but with discernment rather than pessimism or that kind of stuff, right? But at the same time, not, it's kind of like a balance, right? Discernment, healthy skepticism, with a sense of innocence and purity and youthfulness, but not pushing anything that has to be perfect. It's like, oh, it has to be perfectly this way, it has to be perfectly that way, either way, right? It's integration, it's rule. Chiron rules Virgo, so that ties in with that whole process as well. Integrity. Um, and also it means like people will be just watching for it, and it'll be like this. I'd be like, this is, I don't know what aspect this is here. Quadrisexta, I don't know what that is, but it'll show. I feel like this one's is that a quadrisexta? Orcus, what am I seeing here? One second here. Pluto. Let's go to Pluto right here. Oh, okay. That is sesquiquadrate. So it's kind of like a square. So there might be certain challenges for parts of the world, specifically like hospitals. That's Virgo. Workplaces, tiny, tiny bits, not that strong with the shifts that are going on with this one, especially with this whole thing that's coming through. But I believe this sesquiquadrate will be happening naturally anyways, with or without the encounter. Anyways, that's what I'm getting out of that. We'll probably go more into that another time. So I think that's about it. So I think that was fun. I don't know. I don't know what you, but I think that was cool. Things were just coming in quick for me. So I hope that helps. Hope you liked it. See you guys later. Thank you for watching. Bye.